All right, guys, so where I'm standing right now, where it all began. Took back, I couldn't even tell you the date now. Do you know the date actually? It was late October.
October 25th, I think.
I think so, somewhere in there, October 25th, 26th, 27th. I was just before I was leaving for Nebraska. You're sitting on the other side. I went ahead and hunted the stand. You'll see the footage and all that. Honestly, one of the craziest nights I had of the whole season. Came out of the woods here on the side, had a stud. I mean, a giant. Way bigger than this, what we'll get to in a second. I ain't even gonna ruin it for you folks, but he came out. I thought he was gonna come to me, never did. Came down here to the edge. Then another buck actually came out earlier before him. It was a beautiful 8-pointer. I didn't realize how big he was. I thought he was a decent one. He actually came back later on that evening, and the two met right here where I'm standing. They began fighting. It was one of the craziest fights I've ever seen in my life. I've never heard so much commotion, so much, I mean, they were just trying to kill each other. It was crazy. It was the wildest shit I've ever seen in my life. After 2 to 3 minutes of them just going to town at each other, I finally got the idea. I was like, you know what? I've always heard some crazy stories. You can just walk right up to these animals when they're fighting. And sure enough, it was the case. I got my bow out of the stand. The only thing I had with me was my bow, my release, and my quiver. Stuck the camera up there. I don't think I was recording when I got out of the stand, but ran. And when I say ran, I literally, you can pan over here. You can actually see the stand in the background, right over the top of the hill. Kind of hard to see up there, but it's over there on that edge somewhere. Ran across this cornfield, came all the way down to this cut bean field. And I literally, once I got my rangefinder out and just walked and kept ranging. It was getting so close to dark that I finally was just like, you know what, I had to stick it in the air. I'm like, all right, 60 yards, take it down, 54 yards. You know, I'm getting closer and closer. I'm comfortable at 40, and I'm just walking to him across this open field. I get all the way down, I finally range him, and it says 41. I'm like, okay. Put the rangefinder back in my pocket. I'm like, this is it, it's going down. I remember putting that release on that string and walking just a couple more steps, and I'm like, I gotta be like 35 at this point. They're still just fighting, killing each other. I draw back on them. I just put the pin, I mean, one of them, I'm trying to figure out what deer is the bigger one. And I just picked the biggest body deer that I could find, held that pin on them at 40 yards and shot. Remember that lighted knot going across there? I just hear the thud. They both just split apart, bust apart. They run down, you can kind of see behind me into this creek. It's a little bit of an embankment, a little ditch. And he disappeared. Never seen that deer once he went into that ditch come out of there. Kept my eyes on him. The other buck, he was fighting, just looking at me. Then another buck comes over the top of the hill. Starts working his way over. I'm thinking, fuck, you know, this is crazy shit. I'm waiting, I'm still keeping my eyes locked on where that other buck is. I'm hearing the weeds. It was a super calm night. The weeds are busting, breaking down there. The other buck he was fighting with runs over there where he's laying, runs down the ditch. He pops back up the other side, but the buck that I ended up shooting never did. I'm thinking in my mind, you know, I don't hear nothing. This deer's dead. The shot, I told everybody right off the get-go, it looked a little low. But I was almost 100% sure that deer was dead. So we gave him a little bit of time, called Sean. I think you were the first person I called, dude. I was fired up. So we came down here with some lights, called my dad and all that. They were on their way out, and made our way over. Great blood. I mean, I've never seen so much blood in my life. Got down the ditch, and I'm expecting the whole time, you know, I think we filmed a little bit of that night, actually trailing up to that point. All right, guys, well, we just came back to the spot where I shot these deer. I'm here with my buddy Sean. I told you guys about him a little bit ago from the stand. We just found first blood. It took us forever. They're out here a little further than what I thought, man. I must have came hauling ass across this field, but we found first blood. It looks pretty decent, guys. I think this deer's dead. I still don't know what deer it is. We're gonna find out. Sean's gonna take over the camera here, and we're gonna follow the rest of this blood, so stay tuned, guys. It's gonna be crazy. Oh yeah, let's show them a little bit of that blood.
Got the pops on cam.
Yeah.
On the cellular device.
We got
Look at the blood.
I'm following it.
Look at this blood.
We got real good blood. All right, all right. That's white hair. I don't like that. It still looks pretty good, but I hope I didn't just nick the bottom of him. But no, the arrow was stuck in here, so. Oh boy, it's back. There's stomach matter, hang on. Boy, I don't know. I mean, that is a steep drop off. I didn't see him come up the other side, dude. There's no way. There's blood all the way up on top of here, though. Something's not right here, Sean. We might have to stop here. I would have seen this deer come out of here.
Huh?
I would have seen that deer come out of here. Where's the rest of the blood at? Right here. Turn this camera off. All the way up through the cornfield, found amazing blood. We got about halfway through that field and we called it quits. We called it quits. Let's give them some more time. Couldn't believe that deer even made it out of that field. So I'm like, before we even start, you know, we got a couple more groups. There's my dad, his cousin Jake, and then Sean and me. We got all us four. There's a road that goes all the way up and around. So let's check the road. Let's check the edge. I had this weird gut feeling somewhere along that line there was going to be blood crossing that road. And sure enough, we get to the top of the hill and what do we find? Blood crossing the road. I shook my head. That deer at that point has probably went 250 yards, if not 300 yards. And I was a little discouraged. So once again, still great blood. Followed it into the neighboring property. We looped all the way around, trying to get permission to get in there. We looked up on Onyx, right?
Huntwise.
It was Huntwise, wasn't it? Yeah, because yep. So we got on Huntwise, got all the way on the other side, figured out who owned it, knocked on the door. They had a Wise camera. I mean, we're trying everything. We spent a long time trying to get permission, but we got in there, and we followed that deer another probably what, mile?
Yeah, about a mile and a half.
How many hours did we track that night? 4?
About 4.5.
About 4.5 hours. It started raining. Had a huge rainstorm come in. There's no way we'd be able to find blood the next day. We lost blood. It ended up just kind of drip, drip, drip. But the whole time leading up to that mile and a half back in there, great blood. Couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe that deer was still alive. So, long story short, we're flashed back into today. What is today's date? December 7th?
Mm-hmm.
December 6th. Oh, shoot. So we get all the way over here. Yesterday evening, you'll see on the footage, you were hunting across the road again.
Yep.
I was hunting down here in the ditch. Shot that doe on the edge. We got over there. I didn't film a lot after the fact of shooting that doe. We went ahead and tracked a little bit inside the woods. We couldn't find hardly any blood with her. So we decided last night, let's back out. I had work this morning. You were coming out to hunt in the morning. So we figured we'll come back out. We'll look forward today when we got some more light, maybe get some more people. So we got out here. You ended up shooting a deer. You called me at work at 8:30 or somewhere in there, 8 something. He shot him a nice deer. We actually got it in the back of the truck. So that one's loaded up, ready to rock and roll. And we decided, you know what? You had some more people come. Yep. Your boss, right, and everybody.
Yep.
So we have what? How many people? We have
6.
5 or 6 people out here today. You had a gentleman that actually hunts this property help you with your deer before I got here, so that was great. I got off work early and everything. Like I just said, bye, see ya. We got things to do. So we got up in here. We tracked this deer. Actually found pretty decent blood with all the fat that they have on them this time of the year. It's so hard to find a deer when it's shot with a shotgun like that. A lot of times they won't bleed real well, especially if you hit them a little bit back. But we tracked that doe about 200, 250 yards back in there. No luck. Couldn't find it. Totally forgot about the scenario way back in October. Wasn't thinking nothing of it. I mean, it's crossed my mind. I'm still disappointed. It's upsetting. I hate to lose a deer. I hate wounding deer. We get back into this property another 75 yards, just cutting through the trail. And I'm just, you know, trying to look back into the thicket, trying to come across blood, anything we could do. And I look over to my right, and I see hair everywhere. I told Sean yesterday, too. I said, these coyotes, they're bad out here. Wouldn't surprise me if they got her every night. So we start tracking over to her, come to the first pile of hair. There's nothing, no body. And I'm looking for the carcass, of course, and I look up and I see some hooves. And my eye scans some more. I just see white. The first thing I see is antlers. Antlers sticking up. I'm like, shit. You can tell Sean, he put on his, I seen it in second person. Thank God, it was the funniest shit in the world. I go running up through there. The closer I get, I just start shaking my head. I already knew. I'm hooting and hollering. I get to it, I just drop my gun, I drop everything in my hands. The hat was gone, the whole 9 yards. I had realized as soon as I saw that buck, that was the one I shot. What that deer ended up doing was going all the way across this other woods, probably looped back. A lot of times these deer will come back, and I'm thinking with that rainstorm, us pushing him in that woods, we kept finding fresh blood. He would stop and he'd continue on. These deer are the toughest animals I've ever seen in my life. Probably came back across, looped back to where he came from, where he was, his home area, his home range. Bedded down. I'm not sure if coyotes got to him. I'm not sure. Maybe he survived longer and made it back over here. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but infection or something caught up to him at some point. And there he is, folks. The biggest archery buck that I've ever killed, no doubt. no doubt my biggest harvest. The reason why I really know is by, first off, the brow tines is what got me. Second off, if we look from behind, this side you can notice goes out more, and it's almost like this side sucks in. It's kind of tucked and higher, and that's where I really knew. It's almost like it kind of pushes back and holds tight instead of coming up and around. This deer, I don't know. I don't know what he scores. We made a call to the game warden, of course, since I've already shot a buck. I just shot one last week with a shotgun. We made a phone call, took a ton of pictures. They're probably going to end up writing a tag and consider it a deadhead. So he should be getting back with me shortly, and we'll get that all taken care of. But this is him, guys. Another 8-pointer. Me and these 8-pointers got to stop. Next year, I ain't shooting an 8-pointer. I don't care if it's a 160-inch 8-pointer. I ain't shooting it. You're shooting it, not me. No more 8-pointers.
I got you beat, bud.
That's it. You got it. Mr. 9, part 2, round 2, year 2, the whole 9 yards. Guys, I'm extremely blessed. I can't even explain to you the emotions that went through me back in the woods. I wish we had a camera then, because...
Well, I can reenact.
Sean can reenact pretty good. I think he's going he's going to be an actor one day. Guys, honestly, it's just unbelievable to me. I mean, this has been a story in the making. I can't help but just keep my hands on it. I mean, I really, it almost left me speechless back in the woods. I don't know. I just can't believe it. It's a storybook ending. A beautiful deer. Literally the biggest buck I've ever shot with a bow, for sure, or any deer. He's an absolute stud. So I couldn't be any more thankful. I couldn't be any more blessed, guys. It's why we say never stop the hunt. We just keep going and keep going. That's why that channel, the channel name, guys, it lives every day on me. It's crazy. You can't give up on these animals, and even after that fact of not finding him, I'm telling you, it's the hardest feeling in the world for me. I mean, losing a deer like that. I knew he was big. I didn't think he was that big, but the fact of just losing a deer in general, it's hard. Even that doe, we couldn't find her today, and that tears me up. But for it all to come to an ending like this, pretty freaking sweet, guys. So stay tuned for some more videos to come. I don't know. I'm going to continue hunting, try to get another doe down. I don't know what you're doing, but duck hunting is on the way for sure. We're going to try to work on this filming shit, because we cannot ever get a film or a shot on film, like ever. So stay tuned, guys. It's going to be fun. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it, and we'll catch you on the next one. Take it easy.